Hey everyone, Lazy Universe here. Before we get into my review of Scott Dickerson's The Black Phone, uh, just minor thing to talk about here is that I will not be doing Multi Movie Monday anymore, as it felt very stressful for me to kind of continue the reviews, and I'm hoping that everybody understands and are not very stressed out about it. Just note that I am a person that just can't handle stress very well, and trying to handle the schedule and whatnot was a very stressful situation for me. I'm sure that you can acknowledge and oblige by that happening. So, as for such, I hope that you enjoy my Lazy Universe movie review. Yes, I know. At first I accidentally called it The Projector. Even I wasn't happy with the name. So we're just gonna call it Lazy Universe Reviews. And I'm just gonna make a video talking about whatever that I want to talk about. So whether or not it's about something that I'm interested in, a trailer that I've seen, or maybe a TV show or something that I really want to talk about, then that's when I'll do videos. So even I'm not sure how many videos I will upload a month going forward into the future. So just letting you guys know this ahead of time, and just let you guys know this is nothing on you. You did not do anything to affect this change. This was just my personal decision. With that being said, I hope that you enjoyed my review of The Black Phone. Wait a minute. Hold the Black Phone a minute. You mean to tell me that the Black Phone director, Scott Derrickson, directed the first and original Doctor Strange, one of my favorite films of last year, and he could have directed Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness or Doctor Strange 2, but left due to creative decisions? I'm starting to think Mr. Derrickson left us with a very good choice that he could have directed a sequel to one of my favorite superhero movies of last year. Hello and welcome to a Lazy Universe movie review! And today it is of The Black Phone by Scott Derrickson and Blumhouse Studios and produced by Universal Studios. A very interesting psychological thriller, but is not in line of any other psychological thriller that I have seen, especially being a fan of the Candyman remake that was released in 2020, and also a little bit of Brightburn, which is psychological horror as well. So how did this one measure up to the other films? Well, let's see as we answer The Black Phone. The plot is a very simple-minded but very well-toned plot of a man going around kidnapping children, and he happens to stumble across Finney Blake. And he ends up in the kidnapped arms of a man named the Grabber, the local grabber and kidnapper of children. And in order to ensure his survival, Finney must keep answering the black phone of the voices of the dead that call him, or potentially die at the hands of his kidnapper and forever be forgotten. The Black Phone's premise is a simple one, but yet one that we have not seen ever before. Yet we have seen kidnapping films, but never one of this variety. And while I say that it's not very original, I really do mean that it's not nothing that I haven't seen before. I mean, it's a simple story of a person being kidnapped and then escaping by means of escaping either through the torturer or through the means of finding their own way of survival. Finney does get the strength of his dead friends that he believed to be talking to him at the end of the black phone, a phone that just hangs inside of his room where he's kidnapped, but never stated if this phone really does work or if Finney really can hear the voices of the dead. And then if that's the case, he's gonna have some awkward roommates when he goes to college. But what really sells for the Black Phone is probably not really the story itself, which is kind of decent, but not really. It has to do with probably the best thing of this movie, the brilliant choice in casting the characters. Our main character is Finney Blake, played by Mason Thames, who honestly gives a good performance. Thames handled the role as a quirky, quiet, and shy boy that's going through high school, and at the probably of his worst times. And of course, you all cheer on for Finney, who had to make it through the movie while escaping his kidnapper, aka known only as the Grabber. I really did enjoy Mason Thames' performance as Finney Blake. He does a great job at this character, and he really made it all of his own, especially in his own special and unique way. The villain of the movie, the Grabber, is played by Ethan Hawke, who is amazing in the role and really excels at making quite the creepy performance, especially as the man just only known as the Grabber. A man who is always in disguise and afraid to hide his true face, only hiding them behind a version of the devil through various disguises. I believe that Hawke's character in the movie, just known as the Grabber, might be suffering from some sort of delusional state, and that he's always afraid to show his own face. Either that his own face is very ugly to him, so he tries to hide it behind various forms of masks. Two, he hides his face because he's afraid of himself, maybe because he was abused in a past life, maybe by a father or mother type of figure, so he tried to hide his face to hide his memories of what has happened to him, and probably three, the best known reason, he might have multiple personality disorders because Hawk's personality in this movie changes a lot, from happy to ecstatic to angry and to just damn right fucking pissed off, and Hawk handles it like a pro. Whoever decision it was to hire Ethan Hawke as the main villain pretty much did a great job, and Ethan excelled in his performance as the Grabber. Then, of course, also in this movie is another great character, Mr. Blake, played by Jeremy Davies. Davies plays an abusive father, but however, he does love his children still as much as he does, and even offered involvement of his daughter, Grace. Well, Mr. Blake is an alcoholic, and he really kind of abuses his children, and primarily he abuses Grace in an early scene. He does still care and love his children very much, as any good father would. And also, I love Jeremy Davies' performance at going from character to character in this movie, really establishing how well and how great of an actor that he is, especially around these kids. But then there's the saving grace of this movie, pun intended, played by Madeline McGraw as his daughter, Grace. Madeline McGraw truly is the heart of the movie, and you feel for her as she's going through these events and trying to find her brother and finding out what happened to him. Madeline is believed to be a psychic and having dreams where she can see and hear people that are dead, and that she is known as a psychic medium. Madeline McGraw truly really is the best part of the movie as Grace and really handles the performance as well as she does. And I really do love later on that she especially calls out the Lord himself, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and asks him what the fuck is he doing with her and what the hell are his plans. That was just a great scene that had me almost dying on the floor laughing because I think we've all had those days where we just look up at the sky and go, Lord, what the fuck are you doing with us? So it does have a good cast of characters and the plot is simple, but how does the end of the movie hold up compared to the rest of it? And that is our final question. After attempt after attempt after attempt, Finney Blake decides just to give up and accept the death that he might be getting, and just the sweet embrace of everything that has happened just takes its toll on him, because of course he's only a kid. He gets a phone call from his best friend Robin, who is dead, and gives him some pointers on how to defend himself and really give the Grabber what for. As Finn gears up for the war of a lifetime and is about ready to give the Grabber what he deserves. As Grace rides around town trying to find what happened to her brother and trying to find her brother completely while asking God to give her a sign. He does so by having her crash her bike and by seeing 5 dead children, the children that were killed by the Grabber. This is when Finney ends up being found by the Grabber's brother Max, who unfortunately gets an axe in his head for asking too many questions. Comes a Home Alone type of standoff where Finney finally gets revenge against the Grabber by trapping him in his own basement and beating the ever-loving crap out of him. The ending of the movie is really the most, I want to say, most failure of the part of it, because the movie as a whole pretty much holds itself together with its stellar performances all around. But it's unfortunate that the end of the movie feels very, very rushed, and that Finney Blake just killing his apparent killer and also possibly rapist. That's the feeling I got off of the performance of the Grabber. It really came out to be not as heroic as I anticipated. Also, having the voices of the dead calling Finney Blake were just kind of well out there, in my opinion. This could have been a more awesome film. And granted, it still holds up pretty damn well with the stellar performances, especially Ethan Hawke as the brilliantly terrifying grabber. You really do feel for Finney Blake, and you hope for his survival, and especially using the basement as to his own measures and basically escaping. I really don't think that he needed the voices of the dead to figure out how to stop his kidnapper, because usually people in this type of scenario somehow figure it out themselves. I do like that Grace can see visions of the dead, and also that she is basically of the supernatural type of aspect. It's a very nice turn, and which I would like to. In which had me kind of interested to see where it would go. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the dream sequence that was kind of relevant in Jordan Peele's Candyman just a little bit, but not the same thing. So, well, so the Black Phone for me was a very terrifying and very unique psychological horror film. However, I don't think I can say that I loved it as much as I would have. If the film were longer, granted it's only under 2 hours long, and maybe if the script would change a little bit, or maybe if this was directed by Sam Raimi, who should not have directed Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but instead directed The Black Phone, maybe it would have been a different choice. So that's why my final vinyl pop rating of this movie is an Elsa Bloodstone. This has been my review of the Scott Dickerson's The Black Phone. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more reviews like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also join me at Twitter. But then again, this has been a Lazy Universe movie review. Thanks for watching.